Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Health Made Easy. I'm your host, Dr. Jason Jones, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that, in my opinion, is really not that controversial, but it is something that people just don't think about, all that often. And there's so much, fighting and arguing over diet dogmas. And this one's better than that one. And you should do this and you should do that. And you should be a vegetarian. You should be a keto person or a paleo person or a carnivore person or an Atkins person or a this kind of person or a whatever. And this little piece of it is something that just doesn't come up all that often, and it should, because it just makes total sense. And that is why your sugar consumption should not exceed 10 to 20% of your carbohydrate calories. Definitely no more than 20. Now, sugars are commonly seen, in many natural foods, and drinks as simple carbohydrates, Healthy foods such as fruits, vegetables, dairy products, they contain sugar, and it gives them obviously the sweeter taste, and it's important for you to, include these foods in your diet as they offer a range of nutrients that give you valuable health benefits. Now, a lot of food manufacturers tend to add sugar to foods such as cereals, cakes, some beverages and drinks, and these added sugars or free sugars are implicated in many health problems, including things like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Now, here's the thing that we do know about food manufacturers, and that is this: as if they have a product that isn't selling, all they have to do, and they have studied this ad nauseum, okay, they know what'll work and what won't work. All they have to do if a product is not selling is just add more sugar to it or sweeten the taste of it, and miraculously the sales just take off. So you have to be a savvy consumer. Now, unlike the natural sugars found in food and drinks, added sugars basically offer no nutritional value besides the body digests them very quickly, and they are a terrible energy source. And I'm going to go on a side note here real fast. This is not on my blogs. It's not anywhere else. That's why you should always listen to this podcast and not just necessarily read the accompanying notes that go with this, because I do go on a few sidetracks, and those are typically going to be the things where you really need to know. And that is when we look at high fructose corn syrup, okay? The one thing you need to know about that, one, it's terrible. Two, is it's processed by the liver and converted into fat immediately, okay? So you get no energy benefit from it, okay? It's just cheap sugar that, it's not even sugar. It's really just a product that is used by the food manufacturer because it saves them a ton of money, and they essentially can make everything taste the same as if they used real sugar or close enough anyway. But again, it's a money saver for them, but it's terrible for your health. Now, carbohydrates certainly are the preferred energy source for the body. I don't care what anybody says. They are the preferred energy source for the body. It's not the only energy source, and it's certainly the most efficient for sure. And roughly half of a lot of people's daily intake should come from carbohydrate-rich foods. Now, some of you, it's going to be 30%, some of you 25%, other ones of you, it might be even more than that. But, how much sugar is too much? So the dietary guidelines for Americans, and take this with a grain of salt, I advise that added sugars should should really not be more than 10 to 20% of your daily intake. So if 2,000 calories a day, you shouldn't have more than 200 to 400 calories coming straight from the sugar content and the carbohydrates. However, the World Health Organization advises that, back in 2015, people take half this amount, no more than 5% of their daily calories coming from sugar. Now, the World Health Organization is not a nutrition organization, and in my opinion, they shouldn't even be speaking on this particular topic. So, what are the effects of having too much sugar? Okay, so when you consume excess added sugar, you are at risk of the following. Number one, weight gain and obesity. A diet high in added sugar has been shown by many, many studies to call what's called leptin resistance. That's LEPTIN resistance. I'm not going to go into that today, but Leptin is a hormone produced by the body to signal the brain that, hey, you have had enough food and you're done eating. So when you eat too much sugar, it may interfere with your brain's ability to know when you've had enough food, and that puts you at risk of weight gain and obesity. Tooth decay, which we know. The bacteria that live in the mouth digest sugar, and it creates an acidic waste product, and the acid can erode your teeth, the enamel, leading to cavities, holes in your teeth. And then when you eat sugary foods frequently, especially in between meal times, in sweetened drinks, as snacks, and as you likely are going to lead to some tooth decay. It also ages your skin. When you consume too much added sugar in the diet, it can lead to the formation of what are called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which are linked to faster visible aging. More so, excess sugar affects the formation of collagen in the skin. And everybody wants to take a collagen protein, but let me go on a side note on that. Collagen protein is, your body has to break that down. So just because you eat a protein, a collagen protein, your body is still going to take that in the stomach and rip that protein apart, break it down into amino acids, and put those amino acids wherever it wants. So if you just eat a good quality protein, you're going to get just as much out of that as you would a collagen protein. And if you seemingly see effects from eating a collagen protein, it's not the collagen protein. It's just the fact that you're probably eating more collagen, and then there's probably some sort of somatic effect, that you're having it because you think it's working. So with all that being said, and plus on top of that, for better connective tissue and skin, you also need sulfur in the diet, and you also need vitamin C. So you had to have all of those. It's not just one thing. Now, acne is another one. So some studies have shown that people who consume way too much sugar, can lead to having them moderate to severe acne. I must have been eating a lot of sugar as a kid because mine was terrible, and I'm lucky that I didn't have a lot of negative effects later from that. So some other studies have shown when you lower your sugar consumption, it may decrease insulin-like growth factor and other androgens, which are sort of male hormones that can lead to the acne formation. Now, other effects of too much sugar, obviously, are things like diabetes, high blood pressure, and even some cancers, because cancers oftentimes are estrogen dominant, but then they also have shown that they feed off of sugar, So, and then when you cut sugar, oftentimes you cut the fuel source to the cancer, and they've seen them actually decrease in size. Now, looking at the effects of consuming sugar, it's important that you limit the sugar content in your diets around that 10 to 20% mark. So basically what you want to do is look at your food labels, look for things like brown sugar, sucrose, maltose, corn syrup, molasses, corn sweetener, malt sugar, malt syrup, all that sort of stuff, because that means it's going to have a high sugar intake, a high sugar amount in the food, but also probably low fiber. So when you go to do this, take the total number of carbohydrates in the on the food label. Okay, look at the total number of sugars, and then let's say the total number of sugar is 10. Okay, total number of carbs is 35. You take the 10 and you divide it by 35, and that's going to give you a percentage. If that percentage is higher than 20%, then that's not necessarily the best choice for you if you're trying to keep it in that 10 to 20% range. So if that didn't make sense, just go back, rewind, listen to that again. It's just a simple math equation for you. So just again, cook whole foods, eat whole foods, because oftentimes they're going to have the fiber necessary to slow the carbohydrates down. Fruits, vegetables, those kinds of things. Just try to eat real food, and then just understand that you are your greatest experiment. And then what you need to do is you need to find out what works for you. Just because your brother-in-law started a keto diet and it worked really good for him, and he lost a bunch of weight, over a 3-month period of time. Keep an eye on him and watch him for the next, 1, 2, 3 years and see what really happens to them. Or if it was paleo, I'm not picking on keto or whatever. I've done the ketogenic diet. I've done basically every diet dogma you could ever imagine. And then for me, proper food combining is what works the best for me. Okay, now, and what I also think works the best for the majority of the population. So, hope this helped you out. This is Dr. Jason Jones signing out. We'll see you guys on the next podcast. Have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you soon. See you later. Bye-bye.